Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the ALSA UK Podcast. Today's guest is someone who builds quietly but boldly across borders, across sectors, and across systems. Marcela Shehu is a recruiter, co-founder, and a connector, but her true strength lies in how she creates people, whether she's growing a tech team, launching a new platform, or mentoring the next generation in Tirana. She moves between the UK and Albania, not just in location, but in mindset, from setting up long-term apprenticeships to creating access for women in STEM. Marcela's work isn't about scale for the sake of it. It's about care, clarity, and contribution. In a world that often celebrates loudness, Marcela leads with intent. She shows us what it means to be with purpose and to do so from a place of trust. Thank you so much, Marcela, for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Giovanni. Thank you for all the kind words. You've described me so well, I don't know what else to say.
No problem. And of course, you've been moving across industries and borders. But when someone asks, who is Marcela Shehu, how do you introduce yourself?
To be honest, I've always considered myself as a people's person. Even on my own LinkedIn profile, my main title would be a people's person, simply because throughout my adult working life, I've always worked in, as you mentioned, different industries, but always with people. Nowadays, as I've grown up and progressed within my career, I think I have become more of a bridge builder, someone who essentially builds bridges, whether they are between people, ideas, and opportunities. So I think this will probably best define me at this stage in my career.
And of course, growing up in Albania and UK, what are some early lessons that shaped how you see opportunity, trust, and also responsibility?
This is a brilliant question. So I would say growing up between two cultures and two working cultures have definitely made me more adaptable and someone who can identify opportunity from early on, and someone who I believe now I'm thinking very differently to how I used to before, whether I'm working in the UK with British clients, and whether I'm working from Albania with our clients in Albania. So the way how we operate in our daily lives, I think it's brilliant that I have both of this knowledge, if you say in me, because it just means that I can adapt more to what our clients need and want, essentially.
And you've been very vocal about honesty, collaboration, and accountability. Can you share a moment where all of those values come together and make them your principles, and when they shaped a real decision or challenge that you have faced recently?
Oh my God, we can talk about this for hours. Well, there's different perspectives I can actually answer this. So if I think about it from a recruiter perspective, so early on in my recruiter career, often I would get given a very limited budget from a client and asking for a unicorn. And can I have this, and that, but I can only pay that amount. So I'm like, okay, I've had to essentially pause the search, press a pause, say, look, we need to have a very honest conversation here. I know you're the client, I know you're paying me, and without you, I wouldn't have this opportunity to do my job. But what you're asking for is not. It's not possible. You're not going to get it. So I can either waste my time and your time, or we can have this difficult conversation right now where you're going to hate me because I'm pushing back and you think I'm doing it because I want you to have pay a bigger salary so I can make a better commission. It's not the case. And I would normally do this, have an honest conversation, but always back up by facts and figures. So I'll say, look, this is what you want me to get with your budget, and this is what it gets. But what you really want is this other profiles, this other talent. But this other talent would cost you a little bit differently. So let's actually prioritize what are the needs for your business. So let's have that open chat and conversation, and let's see where we can meet halfway. Whether you need someone maybe a bit less experienced in certain areas, and we'll see this as a step up, because frankly speaking, who would move a job unless it's for better? If you're very well achieved in your current role, why would you move for less? You'd want to move for more. More doesn't always mean money. More means opportunity, a chance to grow, to demonstrate capabilities. So we just needed to understand exactly what they need. If I was to think about it from a business owner perspective, at honest solutions. We are quite laid back, and we've always given this opportunity to everyone walking in as a new hire to fit in just the way we operate. And sometimes we've noticed that certain people, by mistake even, not necessarily with their biggest desire to take the mic, have taken it for granted. So we've had to have honest conversations, say, look, we operate like this, and it's fair and it's the right way to do it. But what we're here to do needs to get done. If we are spending all our time doing other things, it might affect our productivity. So let's understand exactly, how do you enjoy working? Where do you see yourself? And, whether this is the right way for you to operate in. Sometimes having full free will is not for everyone. I can give you another example because obviously, as you know, at our company, we launch new platforms, new digital products, and one of them is Dental Tourism Albania. And with this one, we've had to, well, especially myself, do a lot of honest conversations, whether it comes to actual clinics and doctors and dentists, as well as patients. What is the value that we add? Why should they go and book through Dental Tourism Albania? And why should the clinics give us our really asked for promotions? What does it mean for them as a clinic? Why should they lower certain prices and give us very good deals for our patients and so on? Do I get objections? Always. But as long as, we're having that honest conversation, we don't have values just so we have them on board. And the values are not just there when I hire people to say, look, we collaborate, we innovate, we are responsible, we are adaptable. These are not just for that purpose. These are the values that we actually operate with our clients and how they should see we work with every day.
It's great to hear. And then, of course, you touched a lot about team building and then all the platform building as well. So how do you build that trust, especially working across remote teams as well, different cultures involved and contexts? What are some of the struggles you face as a business owner?
I would strongly say trust is built by consistency, showing up, being there, having again, it goes back to adhering to those values. Yeah, if everyone is on board and has clarity about what they need to be doing, how they are doing it, and creating an environment where people are not afraid of being judged if they're asking a question. There's no stupid questions. There's no silly questions. It's important to just be able to ask and to feel comfortable in that you'll get an answer. We hire at different levels, so between us as a team, someone will know the answer.
You've helped introduce long-term internships and apprenticeship style like we have in the UK, placements in Tirana. What inspired you to first build something like that? And what have you seen the benefits of that system in Albania for young professionals?
I'm going to be very honest. This building a team in Albania wasn't initially my idea. It was my husband's idea, Radian, who is also the co-founder. We sat down and we had a long conversation with each other. The business was already set up. We had initiated on whether we're going to go ahead with it and expand more in the UK, or whilst we were in Albania, we thought, how about we bring the opportunity here? We have a different way of working. We both come from tech industries, but I'm more in the people industry, while Radian more in the tech and building software development space. So we both had very different values to add. So we said, how about we put everything we know together and share this with not necessarily just youngsters, but the tech industry in Albania. This gave us a lot of exposure to established engineers who were already equipped with a certain way of working, and it was a little bit difficult for them to initially adhere to our ways of working, but not impossible. And we together decided that obviously it's a male-dominated industry. How can we diversify this? Albania is not very diversified by nature, so we don't really have many to pick and choose from. But we thought, okay, let's try and diversify the gender in technology. Let's give an opportunity to younger people who always will struggle for that first job. and let's try and have as many different people from across Albania or anywhere else really who are in this space and would benefit from this opportunity. Um, as much as it seems that is done to help others, it also means that it helps the business. Having a diverse team, having a diverse mindset will always bring in new ideas, new ways of working, new ways of collaborating, and all, doing this all together as a team can only mean success at the end of the day. So we decided to bring on internships. Initially was we had probably a few cohorts that were only for women to give an opportunity to hire more women. And I think we've had probably over 30 interns, 30 or 40. And then we had to then mix the groups again because the team then was becoming more, if we could say the diversity were men. So we still wanted that balance to ensure that the team is, we have enough of both across the border.
Definitely. And of course, you talked about a lot that women in tech roles in Albania, of course, as a growing industry now, it wasn't something maybe 20 years ago that people even thought about, let alone has seen. So what barriers do you still see, and how are those barriers beginning to shift here in Albania?
I guess it's more about, I'm going to be very honest, it wasn't a big barrier, but I'm coming to realize that there are certain moments where certain people might feel, I don't know whether intimidated would be the right word, but they would feel that men can prevail more just because women, especially Albanian women, will have more responsibilities as, to become mothers, to look after their homes when they go home, to do all the cooking and the cleaning. And I think this has changed. People are people. Now, there is not such thing as, men are doing more of, taking more responsibility within their households. And so are women taking more responsibilities within their careers. So I think this has changed, but it just meant that we had to break a few mentality issues across different members in the community, so they can understand that it doesn't matter what gender you are. If you're passionate and you're in the right job, you will do equally as well. We've seen very young women who have grown into their careers and they've become leads and managers, but we've seen the same for men. So we're quite happy, to be honest, across the board.
That's another question I want to touch on, is that case studies of what kind of transformations have you seen in people that have taken these internship opportunities and apprenticeship opportunities? Where has their career now taken them? Have they built that confidence, etc.?
I've seen their careers go both ways. I've seen interns who, becoming a software engineer, I must say this, became a trend in Albania. It's a new trend, so everybody wants to become one. Now, whether you are cut to be one, it's a different story. So we've had to give opportunities to someone who appeared passionate about wanting to do this. And then I was saying about 3-4 months into their internship, we knew, and so did they, that they were not cut for it. So sometimes they've had to go back to choose a different career. Now, would I see that as a waste of time from our end? To be honest, no, just because it means that we've identified we've learned how to identify people who are wishfully wanting to become a software engineer in this case, or people have also identified that they shouldn't just do it just to please, the trend. They should do it because they feel that they'll get a career out of it. So people have changed careers. So they've tried it, they've given it a go, and then they went back into doing something that they actually really liked and enjoyed. We've had software engineers who've moved into QA. We've had software engineers who've moved into DevOps. We've had software engineers who've moved into more infrastructure or completely different, completely outside of the tech industry. But we've also had software engineers who started from as an intern with us, passed their internship, got a job, and are now focusing on getting a master's degree more in ML or AI related, you could say, criterias or subjects, which we are very supportive of. And they're still with us. They still work around their study times to make sure that they complete this. But we love it when people want to study and progress.
And one of the topics I want to touch on is also the opposite. So, of course, with internships, with apprenticeships, it's always great to see a person who came in now fully working for a company. But purely from a business perspective, I want to kind of understand what are the like cost and benefit analysis of course, interns that don't stay on. What does it cost for business when those sorts of situations happen, so that other businesses can understand if they want to take on interns and apprentices?
It is costly, I'm going to say, just because it's not even costly about the monetization. So it's not just about the money, but the way we run our internships are fully dedicated. So it's not just about teaching how to become a coder or learning the technology. It's learning how to come to work, learning to work with different team members, learning to come in early on and do all the morning ceremonies. So you actually come in as a full-time employee for a period of 3 months. And again, so we're not just learning and teaching how to become a software engineer, but actually how to work. So the whole lot with the work ethics included. And I think when they don't adhere, or they don't, on both sides, we don't identify it early on that they're not the right person for this role. Um, it does cost a lot in engineering time and brain space, I would say, as well, because it demotivates you as a person as well. You're thinking you're going to help this person because you want to see them succeed and shine and become amazing software engineers and become a colleague in the future. And then for whatever reason, things don't work out so well. And it does hurt a bit, not just the budget, but it hurts your feelings too.
And what's the best piece of advice you'd give to business owners that are looking to take on apprentices and interns and to best support their own programs?
I think everyone should be doing it. Remember when you first graduated? Remember when it was your first time looking for a job and no one would give you that opportunity? So let's be the better people and if we all give some opportunities in different areas, even if it's not an area someone has considered, I think we should all do it. We shouldn't be doing it. Maybe not everyone will have the capacity to have tens of interns, but even if you just help one, yeah, you've done that part. And it also helps us. Often we've identified people's strength. So if they're not fantastic at coding, but we've learned that they could be better in doing something else within the tech space, just because you join the tech industry doesn't mean you'll have to code for a living. There's so many other professions that you can do within technology.
I think that's one of the biggest things you've been touching on is these soft skills about working in business, making sure you've got etiquette with a team, etc. What are some of the biggest trends you're seeing now with people's capabilities of soft skills coming out of graduate roles, coming into the working force?
Historically, or my experience, especially in Albania, hiring for graduates or even experienced software engineer, is that they would consider themselves as more introverts. Oh, I'm not. I don't think I'll be very good at this working collaboratively or fitting in a team just because I'm more of an introvert. And I think the first step in you saying that, you've already overcome that, as in, if we could say, if we call it an issue, which is not necessarily. And working as part of a team doesn't necessarily mean you have to come out of your comfort area. You have to make an effort. We're not saying to someone, come in and be the most social butterfly in the office, but when it comes to giving ideas and asking questions and being involved within your job space, it should come natural to anyone being in any job, really. Um, so I think the biggest trend would be more around identifying what you are good at. We all have access to information now. Do a bit of research. Don't just go with the trend because everyone else is becoming a software engineer or a programmer. You should be too. Not the case. Look at what you are good at. Make a list of things that you're so good at, um, and then choose what job or what career can you make out of this. So I think that would be my biggest advice.
Is there a personal story that is attached to that where you started? How did you come to that evaluation?
Yes, I actually graduated in crime scene investigation, so nothing to do with what I'm doing now, many years ago. And quite funny because my friends always thought I appeared as a cold person, not very friendly, but I've always thought I'm one of the friendliest people I know. I've always been able to make friends quickly, to break the ice, and not to fill the gaps, or not to make any awkward situations within our friend group. And although I graduated in such a degree, I landed a job in recruitment many years ago. I didn't even know there was a job where you find jobs for people. I didn't know it existed. And I learned that by doing. And I ended up having to put extra effort and come out of my comfort area even more when speaking to the software engineers at the time, because I was recruiting in technology. And we're talking about 15 years ago. And this were the times where software engineers were really not necessarily the friendliest of people to speak to. They were, to a certain degree, pretty rude, and would put the phone down on you and, basically kill your day, although you're doing a job for free for them because they're not paying anything. You're just looking for a job for them or introducing a better opportunity. So it was, was quite a tough time. We used to call it as a very cutthroat industry. And I'm guessing it still is, but to a certain degree, but has softened down quite a lot. It gave me an opportunity to be able to liaise with different people at different levels of their careers, from someone who was a graduate all the way up to a CEO or a CTO of a business. So I was quite adaptable and able to speak to everyone really after that. And I loved it. So I've learned that this is actually a key strength of mine, and why can I not make it and utilize it in my work? So it comes in very handy. Whoever I speak with, I always make sure I bring the best out of them. We even have a joke, so I get paid for talking. Um, it's not just about that. There's a lot of work that goes behind it, but in an essence, that would sum it up.
And what then inspired you to create these businesses that you now have?
Dreams. I've realized that if you want to go forward, you just need to dream. If you have a dream and you have a vision, you know where you want it to go and where you want it to be. I think it's quite scary doing it alone. So I think Redion and I are quite lucky because we've put together all that we know and how we can do and make use of our best abilities and our best, if I could say, strengths. And we brought the business together. So Honor Solutions, obviously, it's a software building consultancy for global clients, mostly in the UK. And we also build our own digital products. So we've built Adaptive ATS, which is a applicant tracking system that is used by many freelance recruiters out there, very close to my heart. And now we have built Dental Tourism Albania, which is a digital platform where dentists and clinics across Albania can bring themselves forward and register and get introduced to more clients. Or patients in this case, not clients, as well as patients will find an opportunity for someone to handhold them and bring them to the right promotions, to the right clinics, according to what their needs are.
Very cool. It all comes under that thing of finding your strength. As you said, your strength was connecting those people, was building those networks. And as you can see, you've built businesses off the back of it.
It's always hard work. We're still working in progress, but we're getting there.
One of the things that you were also a part of was Dita Solidaritetet, which was co-led by ALSA UK and Talker, and I also was a co-leader of Sourcing Out that day. What moved you most about that day? I know you had about over eight volunteers on the day. And why was that important for you to be involved in such a thing?
It's always about sharing knowledge, giving an opportunity for other Albanians, in our case, to know that other people have done it. Just dream and you can do it. And, there is a community here that will help you if you've got questions, if you need support. So you don't have to kind of be all locked into yourself. We are all normal people. We are not, we're not in business because someone has passed it on to us. We've all had to start from, not even grounds up, but from minors. We've all had to come to a different country, learn the language, learn the culture, adapt, and get involved. So I think we, in a way, are all on the same background and mentality. So if we've done it, and as long as you want to do it, you can. And I think what moves me mostly was the fact that it was quite a big turnout. I didn't expect everyone to come. And I wasn't even really sure. It was my first one as well, so I wasn't sure how to approach it. So I said to myself, okay, let's just be myself. Let's devote this day to learning and to teaching, rather than about expecting something major from the girls and Gerald to achieve and do in that day. So it's more about getting to know them, sharing more about what we do and how we do it, and hopefully this will spark something within them and wanting to do their own things in the future as well.
Definitely. And for context, due to Solidarity, it was a Solidarity Action Day, which basically had volunteers volunteer at different businesses that we had throughout the day. And for one of the questions I wanted to ask you was, what were you seeing in that cohort of people that you had? What were their ambitions like? What were they looking for? And what were you able to teach them as well?
I saw that they weren't willing to give up. It was a very new product for them. They had never come across Dental Tourism Albania before, working within the digital content. So I kind of tasked them to come up with a content or a post for me to share on our social media. And like this, I wanted to see their creativity. They're working together, so we divided in groups. So we shared knowledge. And although this was brand new to most of the team members present on the day, they managed to come up with ideas. And I think it was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. They got out of their comfort area. We spoke, we got to know each other, we had lunch, and it wasn't just about working. I did have to explain to them that this is not a normal working day. Usually the expectation would be more, but it was quite nice for them to see that, you know, working for an Albanian-led business is actually quite a good thing. It's not necessarily, oh my God, will I be used because, you know, will the expectations be for me to do more than what I can? No, you know, we get hired to do something that we're good at, and that's what we perform on.
Is there anything you're seeing between the diaspora that is in Albania and young migrants and wanting to be involved in businesses for, in this case, in Albania, but for any migrant for their own home country? Are you seeing anything happening there?
I have seen quite a few Albanians that work and live abroad have returned and reinvesting in Albania. And whether this is something just because we have a tendency as Albanians to buy homes. I don't know why, but we every time we have a bit of money, we always put it towards a house or an apartment. But to some people, this have become more of a, all right, let me run my own booking or Airbnb system. And now that Albania is booming in tourism, I've seen a lot of people return and manage their homes or relatives' homes and everyone else's and make it a little business of theirs. I've also seen a lot of professionals from the tech industry who are bringing more projects back home. And I think this is definitely a very good thing. It gives opportunities to the younger generations to have more and to work from Albania without finding the need to leave. So I think this is definitely key. Um, I would. I've noticed that most Albanian youngsters are not necessarily willing to leave anymore. I think might have been an issue many years ago where there were visa restrictions and, you know, kind of wanting what you cannot have type of thing. But most well-educated individuals or anyone who are living and, you know, have a career path, I don't think they really necessarily want to leave Albania. They're quite happy to work from Albania. Why not? Can't blame them. Very close to the sea, very close to the mountain. You can travel wherever you want. You know, if you earn a decent salary a month, you live very well.
Definitely. And I think there's a point of technology has improved at this point as well. You can work from any country with any other country. As this specific case, you can work as an Albanian in Albania for an English company as well. So I think that's one of the biggest factors that people aren't leaving and people are also going back. And I think it's very, very cool time that we're in now to see how everything's going to move about.
And what I really like is the fact that, for example, most of our engineers at Honor Solutions in Albania have visas to travel to the UK as well. They've always, you know, they've attended many client visits and spent time in the UK as well, but they're quite happy and content to live and work from Albania. So, everyone's had that opportunity to go, but they're still there, which is, it definitely shows to us that things are heading towards the right directions.
100%. And looking back on all of these businesses and your career, what's one decision that you thought at the point was a bit uncertain or risky, but ended up being a huge turning point for you?
When we decided to establish Honest Solutions in Albania, we had to physically spend more time there, and that was time away from family. And it was a bit more of a sudden decision, so it wasn't well pre-planned. So we saw an opportunity and we thought, okay, if we don't do it now, we'll resettle back in London. The kids are going back to school, so it'll be more difficult. So it was that time. It was probably a decision that took over a month on whether we should do it or we should not do it. And I'm very happy that we did, because from that moment till now, things have progressed only for the best. And we've been in a position to hire close to 40 people and have helped many more.
What is one of the biggest things that people misunderstand about Albania's tech talent, or about what it really takes to build across both countries as well?
Probably language barrier and working culture barrier. I don't think that is an issue anymore. Most Albanians in technology, they are fluent in English. Albanians by nature are multilingual, so they don't necessarily only speak English. They speak probably German, Italian, Albanian, Turkish, I don't know, you name it. I hear so many different languages across different team members, so it never provides an issue with any clients that we work. But it also means that we are quite multicultural as well. We can adapt and we can work with everyone, as long as we are aligned in what we want to do in the technologies that we use. I don't think that foresees any issues at all.
If you were going back on that time, of course, you yourself has been based in the UK and decided to invest in Albania. For people to listen into this podcast now that are thinking about wanting to go back to their home country and invest in their home country, whether that be through businesses or working there, what are some of the best pieces of advice you could give to them?
Don't listen to other people. Just do it, because often we get told, why are you returning back? Everybody wants to go. It's not true. Everyone who has a business idea, Albania is still an unsaturated country, but it has a very big talent, very well educated youth, a lot of young people who are hungry to grow and drive in their careers. So I think it's perfectly the right time to get things done in Albania. Just do it. Don't think twice.
And what do you hope that people will feel or understand from hearing your story and everything we spoke about on the podcast?
Again, I hope that everyone gets inspired to try. It's okay to fail, but it's not okay not to try. It will only teach you. So you'll fail a couple of times, maybe even, 3, 4, 5 times. But every time you fail, you would have learned something new and you'll improve on the next time, and until you're happy and to succeed. Just because business doesn't always succeed, it's not the end of the world. It's trying, I think, that is the best, the best outcome, just so you can feel better with yourself. You've tried it. Um, it Running a business is not easy. It's actually one of the most difficult things to do, because you're not just responsible for your own career, you're responsible for everyone else's jobs, career, and a lot of other bullet points that we don't have to go in details now. But I think don't overthink it. If you have an idea, try it, but try it yourself first and see whether it works, and then it will tell you whether it's worth pursuing or not.
And finally, what's a question when you meet new people that you wish more people asked you?
What can I do with what I am good at? We often aspire to do what everyone else is doing, just because there's a trend for someone to become a doctor, a lawyer, a software engineer, and we always push ourselves to, if we don't become any of these people, then we are failed. It's not. Just more than ask yourself, what are you good at? Are you good at drawing? Are you good at talking? Are you good at reading? Are you good at singing? What is your strength? And then we can identify how to make a career out of it.
I think that's a big point as well, because as you said, it's about finding what you love. At the end of the day, we can all make as much money as possible doing the thing, but at the end of the day, who's getting up every single morning to make that happen? And I think that's a great thing from this spot that a lot of people are in right now. Find what you're good at. There's so many different ways of making a career out of every different skill now. There's loads of opportunity that there wasn't before. So go on and take it, I believe.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Marcela. It's been a pleasure to have you. It's been a great podcast. Please let me know, is there any businesses, anywhere that the audience can find you?
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on dentaltourismalbania.com website. All the contacts are mine. The first point of contact with people. Marcela at honorsolutions.co.uk. This is, I've always been quite open and vocal about anyone wanting advice or help, even running a question through me, and I'm happy to help and support. So it's not difficult to find me. Type in my name and it'll show you where I am all over the social media at the moment. Thank you, Giovanni. It was a pleasure to be here, and hopefully we've helped motivate some other young Albanians wanting to achieve and are currently in decision-making processes about their careers.